Let's talk about something we've all encountered: toxic people. They can drain your energy, derail your focus, and diminish your confidence. But the key isn't to let them dictate your story. It's about learning how to handle them with wisdom and grace. This isn't just about surviving toxic people, it's about thriving in spite of them. Boundaries are not walls, they're bridges to healthier interactions and self-preservation. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. It's a declaration of what you will and will not accept, not because you're trying to control someone else, but because you're taking control of your own well-being. Toxic people often push limits, testing how far they can go. They may dismiss your needs, manipulate situations, or even guilt you for asserting yourself. But remember, boundaries are not about them, they're about you. When you set boundaries, it's natural to feel a pang of guilt, especially if you're someone who values harmony or fears confrontation. However, guilt is often misplaced. It's a conditioned response to prioritizing yourself in a world that sometimes glorifies self-sacrifice. Smart people understand that guilt is a fleeting emotion, but the long-term effects of neglecting boundaries, burnout, resentment, and diminished self-worth are far more harmful. Boundaries are clear, firm, and respectful. They're not ultimatums or punishments, they're guides for healthier interactions. For example, if someone constantly interrupts your work with non-urgent matters, a boundary might look like saying, "I value our conversations, but I need to focus during work hours. Let's catch up after 5 p.m." This approach is firm but fair, it communicates your needs without diminishing theirs. Setting boundaries also means enforcing them consistently. Toxic people may push back, testing your resolve, but consistency sends a clear message your boundaries are non-negotiable. Over time, this consistency trains not only others to respect your limits, but also reinforces your own self-discipline. Every time you set a boundary, you're reinforcing the idea that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are worth protecting. Boundaries are not about rejection, they're about prioritization. They ensure you have enough space to nurture your own growth while maintaining relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding. Toxic behavior often feels personal because it's directed at you. It might come in the form of criticism, manipulation, or passive aggression, and it's easy to internalize these actions as a reflection of your worth. But the truth is, toxic behavior is rarely about you, it's about the person exhibiting it. Smart people recognize this distinction and don't allow someone else's negativity to become their emotional baggage. Taking things personally only gives toxic people more power over your emotions. When you internalize their negativity, you allow their issues to infiltrate your sense of self-worth. Smart people protect themselves by creating an emotional buffer. They remind themselves that someone else's opinions, judgments, or actions are not an accurate measure of their value. This doesn't mean ignoring feedback or refusing to take responsibility for your actions. It means discerning the difference between constructive criticism and toxic behavior. Constructive criticism is rooted in care and growth, while toxic behavior is often fueled by control or insecurity. Smart people filter out the noise, focusing on what's helpful and discarding what's harmful. Detachment doesn't require confrontation or retaliation. It's about maintaining your inner peace in the face of negativity. When you stop taking things personally, you become less reactive and more reflective. You can engage with toxic behavior from a place of strength and clarity rather than defensiveness. This mental shift not only preserves your emotional well-being, but also disarms toxic individuals who thrive on eliciting a reaction. By refusing to take toxicity personally, you reclaim your power. You choose to define yourself by your own values and actions, rather than allowing someone else's behavior to dictate your self-perception. This approach fosters resilience, enabling you to navigate toxic situations without losing sight of your own worth. Toxic people often thrive on eliciting emotional reactions. Their behavior can be frustrating, antagonistic, or even intentionally provocative, designed to create chaos or control the narrative. In these moments, staying calm under pressure is one of the most powerful tools you can have. Remaining composed doesn't mean ignoring the situation or suppressing your feelings, it means responding with intention rather than reacting impulsively. When you stay calm, you break the cycle of escalation. Toxic people feed off heightened emotions because it shifts focus away from their behavior and onto the drama they've created. Anger, frustration, or defensiveness only serve to fuel their tactics. By maintaining your composure, you take away their power. You create a space where you can think clearly and decide on the most effective course of action. This deliberate response often disarms them as they're unable to manipulate the situation in the way they anticipated. Staying calm also helps you protect your energy. Emotional outbursts can leave you feeling drained and off balance, which is precisely what toxic people aim to achieve. When you choose calmness, you're preserving your mental clarity and emotional stability. This not only allows you to handle the immediate situation more effectively, but also prevents long-term stress from taking root. Achieving calmness in the face of toxicity often requires preparation and self-awareness. you need to understand your triggers and develop strategies to manage them. Breathing exercises, mental reframing, or even taking a physical step back from the situation can help you regain control over your emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing how you feel, it means channeling your emotions into a measured and thoughtful response. Calmness also invites respect. When you respond with composure, you demonstrate emotional intelligence and self-control. Others notice this, including the toxic person, and it shifts the dynamic of the interaction. It sends a clear message you won't be pulled into their chaos. Over time, this approach can deter toxic individuals from targeting you as they realize their efforts to provoke you are ineffective. Choosing calmness is not about ignoring the problem or letting toxic behavior slide. It's about addressing the situation from a place of strength and focus. When you remain calm, you're better equipped to articulate your boundaries, protect your well-being, and maintain your dignity. It's not just a strategy for dealing with others, it's a commitment to yourself and your own peace of mind. Empathy is one of the most powerful tools we have in navigating relationships, even with toxic people. It allows us to see beyond someone's behavior to understand their pain, struggles, or insecurities. Toxic behavior often stems from unresolved trauma, deep-seated fear, or a lack of self-awareness. While empathy can help us recognize these underlying factors, it doesn't mean we have to engage or accept harmful actions. Smart people practice empathy without compromising their own well-being. When dealing with toxic individuals, empathy helps shift your perspective. Instead of immediately reacting to their behavior, you pause to consider what might be driving it. For instance, someone who constantly criticizes others might be battling feelings of inadequacy. A person who manipulates might be desperately seeking control in a life that feels unpredictable. By acknowledging these possibilities, you humanize them without excusing their actions. This understanding can prevent you from taking their behavior personally, keeping you grounded and focused. Empathy without boundaries can be a slippery slope. Toxic people often exploit kindness, mistaking it for weakness. They might try to pull you into their drama, guilt you into compliance, or monopolize your energy. This is where smart people draw the line. They offer understanding but refuse to engage in destructive dynamics. They don't confuse empathy with enabling. Instead, they use empathy to approach the situation with clarity and intention. For example, if a toxic person is venting in a way that's draining or disrespectful, you might say, "I can see you're upset, and I'm sorry you're feeling this way. However, I can't have this conversation if it continues like this." This response acknowledges their emotions while maintaining your boundaries. It shows care without sacrificing your own mental health or emotional balance. Empathy also allows you to disengage without guilt. When you understand that someone's toxicity comes from their own internal struggles, it becomes easier to step back. You realize that you're not abandoning them or being heartless, you're choosing to protect yourself. This detachment isn't a lack of empathy, it's a recognition that you can care about someone without being consumed by their issues. Empathy gives you the strength to navigate toxic situations with grace. It allows you to act from a place of understanding rather than frustration or anger, but it also empowers you to prioritize your own needs, ensuring that empathy doesn't turn into self-sacrifice. It's a delicate balance, one that smart people navigate with care and conviction. Toxic people have a way of making you feel powerless, as if their actions dictate your emotions and outcomes. It's easy to get caught up in their negativity, replaying their words in your mind or trying to change their behavior. But the reality is you can't control what others do, you can only control how you respond. Smart people understand this distinction and focus their energy on the things within their influence. This approach not only protects their peace, but also empowers them to act with intention and clarity. When faced with toxicity, the instinct might be to fix the person or the situation. You may feel compelled to reason with them, prove your point, or convince them to see things differently. However, toxic individuals are often resistant to change, and engaging in these efforts can leave you frustrated and drained. Instead of expending energy trying to control the uncontrollable, redirect it toward what you can manage: your reactions, decisions, and mindset. Focusing on what you can control begins with self-awareness. When someone's behavior triggers you, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what is within my power here? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values and priorities? This shift in focus helps you regain a sense of agency, even in challenging situations. It reminds you that while you can't change the toxic person, you can choose how much influence they have over your life. Your mindset plays a crucial role in this process. Toxic people often thrive on creating chaos, but when you approach the situation with a calm and focused mind, you diminish their impact. You can decide not to take their words to heart, not to engage in unnecessary conflict, and not to let their behavior derail your goals. This mental discipline creates a buffer between their actions and your well-being. Focusing on what you can control also means setting clear boundaries. For example, if a toxic person frequently interrupts your workflow with negativity, you might limit your interactions with them or schedule those interactions for times when you're better equipped to handle them. By taking proactive steps, you regain control over your environment and reduce their influence. Smart people channel their energy into positive and productive outlets. Instead of ruminating on what went wrong or how unfair a toxic situation might be, they invest in personal growth, meaningful relationships, and activities that bring them joy. This focus not only helps them move forward, but also reinforces their resilience against toxicity. By concentrating on what you can control, you shift the balance of power. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. This perspective doesn't deny the reality of toxic people, it acknowledges their presence while ensuring they don't define your experience. It's a powerful act of reclaiming your life one choice at a time. Dealing with toxic people often feels like walking a tightrope. Their behavior can be draining, manipulative, or even outright harmful. Yet they often draw you into their chaos, creating unnecessary drama. The smarter path isn't to confront them in a way that escalates the situation, it's to create distance. Distance isn't about avoidance or cowardice, it's about protecting your energy, peace, and mental well-being. It's a deliberate choice to prioritize yourself over the turmoil they bring. Choosing distance requires clarity. First, you need to recognize when someone's behavior is consistently toxic. This could be a pattern of criticism, dishonesty, or creating conflict. Toxic people often disguise their actions in ways that make you question your own perspective. They might shift blame or play the victim, leaving you tangled in their narrative. By stepping back, you gain a clearer view of the dynamics at play and can see their actions for what they are. Distance can take many forms. Sometimes it's physical, limiting how often you see someone or stepping away from a situation altogether. Other times it's emotional, detaching yourself from their negativity while still maintaining necessary interactions. For instance, in a professional setting, you might minimize conversations with a toxic colleague to strictly work-related topics, avoiding personal engagement. In personal relationships, you might reduce the time you spend with someone who drains your energy. This isn't about cutting ties recklessly, it's about preserving your own sense of balance and control. Creating distance doesn't mean you're giving up on the person or being unkind. It's about recognizing that you can't fix someone else, especially if they don't see a problem with their behavior. Your energy is better spent nurturing relationships that are reciprocal and supportive. By stepping back, you're not rejecting them, you're choosing to protect your well-being while allowing them the space to address their own issues if they choose to. Choosing distance is also an act of self-respect. It's a way of telling yourself and others that your time and energy are valuable. You deserve to spend them on people and situations that uplift you, not ones that bring you down. It's a reminder that you don't need to prove anything to someone who refuses to value you. Instead, you can focus on creating a life filled with peace and positive connections. Distance isn't a punishment or a sign of weakness, it's a boundary. It allows you to reclaim your space, energy, and focus, ensuring that the toxic behavior of others doesn't dominate your life. By choosing distance over drama, you're making a powerful statement that your well-being is worth protecting no matter what. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your mindset, energy, and overall outlook on life. Toxic individuals can cloud your world with negativity, making it all the more crucial to cultivate an environment of positivity. Surrounding yourself with uplifting people and experiences doesn't just counteract toxicity, it creates a foundation for growth, happiness, and resilience. Positivity is contagious. When you're around people who exude optimism, kindness, and encouragement, their energy has a way of lifting you up. These are the people who see potential where others see problems, who celebrate your successes, and who provide genuine support during challenging times. They help you focus on what's possible instead of what's wrong, and their outlook inspires you to approach life with hope and enthusiasm. Building a positive circle starts with intention. It requires identifying the relationships and environments that nourish your spirit. Who makes you feel heard, valued, and inspired? Who challenges you to be your best self without tearing you down? These are the people worth prioritizing. They don't have to be perfect, no one is, but their presence should bring light, not darkness, into your life. Creating positivity doesn't mean ignoring difficult situations or avoiding constructive criticism. It's about fostering a balance where negativity isn't the dominant force. Surrounding yourself with positivity also includes seeking out environments that encourage growth. This could mean joining a community of like-minded individuals, participating in activities that bring you joy, or immersing yourself in spaces that align with your values and passions. Positivity also comes from the content you consume. Books, podcasts, music, and social media can shape your perspective just as much as the people around you. Choose sources that uplift and inspire, rather than those that feed cynicism or conflict. For example, reading about personal growth, listening to motivational speakers, or following accounts that promote kindness and authenticity can reinforce a positive mindset. It's also essential to recognize the impact of your own energy in fostering positivity. Relationships are reciprocal, and the positivity you give often comes back to you. When you practice kindness, express gratitude, and celebrate others, you contribute to the uplifting environment you want to be a part of. Positivity is not just something you seek, it's something you cultivate and share. In the presence of positivity, the influence of toxic people diminishes. They lose their ability to pull you into their negativity because your focus is on connections and experiences that bring value to your life. Over time, this shift in focus not only helps you navigate toxicity, but also reinforces your sense of self-worth and your ability to create a fulfilling and joyful existence. By surrounding yourself with positivity, you build a buffer against the challenges life inevitably brings. It's not about denying hardships or avoiding reality, it's about equipping yourself with the strength, perspective, and support to face them. Positivity isn't just a shield, it's a source of energy that propels you forward no matter what. Every encounter with a toxic person has the potential to teach you something valuable. While these interactions can be frustrating or painful, they also present opportunities for self-reflection, resilience, and growth. Toxic experiences, when approached with the right mindset, can become some of the most transformative lessons in your life. The key lies in shifting your focus from what happened to what you can learn from it. One of the first lessons toxic people teach is the importance of boundaries. Their behavior often pushes you to recognize where your limits lie and how to enforce them. It's through these challenging encounters that you learn to say no without guilt, to stand firm in your values, and to protect your peace. Boundaries are a skill, and toxic people inadvertently give you the practice needed to master it. Toxic people also highlight your triggers and vulnerabilities. Perhaps their criticism hits a nerve, or their manipulation makes you question your judgment. These moments, though uncomfortable, reveal areas where you can grow stronger. For example, if you find yourself overly affected by someone's negativity, it might be an opportunity to build self-confidence or develop emotional detachment. Instead of dwelling on the hurt, you can focus on fortifying yourself against similar challenges in the future. Another lesson lies in understanding the dynamics of relationships. Toxic encounters teach you to identify red flags early on, patterns of behavior that indicate someone might not have your best interests at heart. Over time, this awareness helps you choose healthier relationships and avoid situations that drain your energy or compromise your well-being. These experiences also teach resilience. Dealing with toxicity requires patience, emotional intelligence, and the ability to adapt. Each time you navigate a toxic situation successfully, you build confidence in your ability to handle adversity. You learn to trust your instincts, remain composed under pressure, and prioritize your own needs without losing empathy for others. This resilience extends beyond dealing with toxic people. It becomes a strength you carry into every aspect of your life. Growth also comes from the way you choose to respond. Toxic individuals often create chaos, but you have the power to decide whether you'll let that chaos define you. Choosing to respond with grace, clarity, and self-control reinforces your ability to act intentionally rather than react emotionally. This practice not only helps in dealing with toxic people, but also enhances your overall emotional maturity. Reflection is a critical part of turning toxic experiences into growth. After a difficult encounter, take time to ask yourself, what did this teach me about myself? What could I have done differently? What will I take from this to handle similar situations in the future? These questions shift your perspective from being a victim of someone's behavior to being an active participant in your own development. Toxic experiences remind you of the kind of person you don't want to be. Their behavior, as unpleasant as it may be, serves as a mirror of what to avoid in your own interactions. They inspire you to cultivate kindness, authenticity, and integrity in your relationships, ensuring that you don't perpetuate the same toxicity you've experienced. By choosing to grow from toxic experiences, you reclaim your narrative. You transform moments of difficulty into stepping stones toward becoming a stronger, wiser, and more self-aware version of yourself. This mindset ensures that even the most challenging encounters serve a purpose in your journey. Setting boundaries is a crucial skill for maintaining your mental and emotional well-being, yet it often comes with feelings of guilt, especially for those who have been conditioned to prioritize others over themselves. Boundaries, however, are not about rejection or punishment. They are about self-respect and creating the space needed to nurture your own health, happiness, and peace of mind. Setting boundaries without guilt requires a shift in mindset, understanding that your needs are just as valid as anyone else's, and that you have the right to protect your time, energy, and emotions. When you set a boundary, you're not telling someone they're wrong or unimportant, you're simply acknowledging your own limits. This might be a limit on your time, a limit on the level of emotional energy you're willing to invest, or a limit on how much you're willing to tolerate. Many people struggle with guilt because they fear disappointing others, being perceived as rude, or causing conflict. However, when you consistently neglect your boundaries to please others, the result is often burnout, resentment, and frustration. Setting healthy boundaries ensures you can continue to show up for others, but in a way that doesn't sacrifice your own well-being. Boundaries allow you to teach others how to treat you. When you make it clear what you are and aren't willing to accept, you provide a framework for healthier interactions. While some may resist your boundaries initially, especially if they're used to taking advantage of your kindness or flexibility over time, they will learn to respect your limits. The more firm and consistent you are, the clearer your boundaries will become, and the less guilt you'll feel in asserting them. On the other hand, learning not to take things personally is just as important. When a toxic person challenges your boundaries, tries to manipulate you, or criticizes your choices, it's easy to internalize their behavior and start questioning your worth or judgment. But when you understand that people's actions often reflect their own issues, insecurities, or struggles, it becomes easier not to take their negativity personally. Their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. Toxic people may try to make you feel guilty, or they may attempt to make you feel responsible for their emotions, but you don't have to take the weight of their reactions on your shoulders. Their anger, disappointment, or frustration often comes from their own unmet needs, not from anything you've done wrong. Smart people understand that their peace is more important than absorbing the negativity or toxic energy of others. They can maintain compassion without internalizing someone else's emotional baggage. This doesn't mean you don't care about the other person or their feelings. It simply means that you recognize their emotions are theirs to manage, just as yours are yours to manage. It's not your responsibility to fix someone's problems, absorb their pain, or enable their toxic behavior. By detaching emotionally from their reactions, you preserve your own mental and emotional space. By setting boundaries without guilt and not taking things personally, you create a healthier environment for yourself and those around you. You teach others how to treat you by modeling respect and self-care, and you refuse to let someone else's negativity determine your emotional state. This mindset allows you to move through life with more clarity, resilience, and confidence in your ability to navigate difficult situations without losing sight of your own needs. In any challenging or high-pressure situation, especially when dealing with toxic individuals, staying calm is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Toxic people thrive on emotional reactions, and when you respond with frustration, anger, or defensiveness, you only feed into their manipulation. Instead, remaining composed allows you to maintain control of your emotions and make decisions based on logic and clarity, not impulse. When you stay calm, you create space for yourself to think through the situation, set boundaries, and respond in a way that aligns with your values. The moment you step away from their drama and engage from a place of calmness, you regain control and avoid being swept up in their emotional chaos. Staying calm under pressure also gives you the strength to handle difficult situations with grace, showing that you can maintain your peace no matter how toxic the environment may seem. Empathy, rather than engagement, is another essential tool when dealing with toxic people. Toxic behavior often stems from deep-rooted insecurities or unresolved issues. Empathy allows you to recognize the underlying pain or fear that drives the toxic behavior without becoming emotionally involved in it. By practicing empathy, you can distance yourself from their actions while still acknowledging their emotional state. You understand that their behavior is not a reflection of you, but rather a reflection of their internal struggles. This mindset allows you to engage with compassion without allowing their toxicity to consume you. At the same time, empathy prevents you from becoming complicit in their negativity. You can offer kindness and understanding without getting pulled into their drama, offering you the peace of mind that comes from knowing you did not contribute to the toxic energy. Focusing on what you can control is a central principle in managing toxic interactions. While you may not be able to change the behavior of a toxic person, you can always control how you respond to them. Recognizing this distinction gives you back your power. Instead of wasting energy trying to change someone who is resistant to change, you can focus on maintaining your own peace and making decisions that are in your best interest. When you focus on what you can control, you stop wasting emotional energy on external circumstances and shift it toward areas of your life that you can influence, like your emotions, your boundaries, and your actions. This sense of control reduces stress and allows you to act with intention, not out of reaction. Choosing distance over drama is another key strategy for maintaining your peace. Toxic people often thrive on creating conflict and stirring up chaos, and they may try to pull you into their turmoil. However, by choosing distance, you avoid getting entangled in their emotional manipulation and preserve your energy for more positive and productive pursuits. This distance doesn't mean cutting them off completely or being heartless. It means protecting your emotional space so that you can focus on what truly matters. Whether it's physically distancing yourself from the person or emotionally detaching from their negativity, removing yourself from their toxic influence gives you the space to heal and regroup. This choice also sends a clear message that you refuse to engage in the drama they are trying to create, reinforcing your boundaries and self-respect. Surrounding yourself with positivity is essential when dealing with toxic people. Your environment, both physical and emotional, has a direct impact on your mindset and energy. Toxic people often drain your energy, leaving you feeling exhausted and demoralized. By consciously surrounding yourself with uplifting, supportive individuals and positive influences, you build a shield that protects you from the toxicity around you. Positive relationships and environments help you regain perspective, remind you of your worth, and encourage your growth. Whether it's spending time with loved ones who lift you up, engaging in activities that make you feel good, or consuming content that nurtures your mind, surrounding yourself with positivity creates a buffer that makes it easier to navigate difficult situations and people with grace and resilience. Turning every challenging experience into an opportunity for growth is a mindset that can transform your life. Every interaction with a toxic person is a chance to learn something new about yourself, whether it's discovering your limits, improving your communication skills, or strengthening your boundaries. Toxic people may try to provoke negative reactions, but each time you respond with composure, you build emotional resilience. Over time, these experiences teach you how to better handle conflict, how to protect your emotional space, and how to preserve your peace in the face of adversity. You learn that you are not defined by the behavior of others, but by how you choose to respond. These lessons, though difficult, make you stronger, wiser, and more equipped to handle future challenges. The ability to turn negative experiences into growth is what ultimately empowers you to lead a more fulfilling, positive life free from the grip of toxic individuals. Setting boundaries is one of the most empowering acts of self-care, yet so many people hesitate to do it because they feel guilty. But the truth is, boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. Smart people recognize that their time, energy, and emotional resources are finite. The more they allow others to take from them without limits, the less they have to give to themselves, their loved ones, and their passions. When we set a boundary, we're essentially saying, I value myself enough to protect my space. That's not something to feel guilty about. It's something to be proud of. It's an expression of self-respect. Toxic people often take advantage of those who don't set clear boundaries because they know that a lack of limits allows them to manipulate, drain, or overstep. When you set boundaries, you prevent this from happening. But here's the thing, boundaries are not about shutting people out or being harsh. They're about establishing a framework for healthy interactions. They allow you to engage with others in a way that's respectful of both your needs and theirs. And setting boundaries doesn't mean you have to explain or justify them endlessly. A simple, clear statement of what you will and won't tolerate is enough. Smart people know that no explanation is needed for something that is ultimately a matter of their own well-being. The key is to set those boundaries confidently without second-guessing yourself or feeling pressured to back down. When you hesitate or apologize for your boundaries, it sends the message that you don't value yourself, and others will sense that lack of conviction. But when you stand firm, you show that you are serious about protecting your space. And that's when people begin to respect you, not out of fear, but out of recognition of your own self-respect. Setting boundaries with confidence means understanding that it's okay to say no without feeling like you have to explain, justify, or offer a reason. You are worthy of respect simply because you are human, and your peace of mind is sacred. Emotions can easily become a whirlwind. They know how to push buttons, escalate situations, and create chaos. But smart people understand that the most powerful response is often no response at all. When you remain calm in the storm, you're not just maintaining control of the situation, you're taking control of yourself. Toxic people feed off reactions. They thrive when they see you unravel, when they see you lose your cool. The moment you give in to that, they've won. They've taken your peace and twisted it into their own drama. The art of staying calm is a conscious decision, a practice of pausing before responding. It's about recognizing the emotional charge in the moment and choosing not to let it take you over. Instead of matching their intensity, smart people take a breath, ground themselves, and respond with thoughtfulness. They don't react, they respond. It's the difference between being pulled into the storm and watching it from a safe distance. You can witness the chaos without being swept up by it. Remaining calm also means you protect your emotional resources. The more you engage with someone in a highly charged, emotional state, the more you drain yourself. A calm demeanor allows you to conserve your energy and mental clarity. It's like having an inner shield that lets the negative energy bounce off rather than penetrate you. And while staying calm doesn't mean being passive, it means choosing your battles wisely. The more composed you remain, the less ammunition the toxic person has to work with. They may try to escalate the situation, but when they realize their attempts aren't working, they often back off or change their approach. When you don't play into their hands, you remove their power over you. In situations where toxic people try to draw you into conflict, staying calm isn't just a choice, it's a strength. It's a reflection of your ability to be self-aware, to detach from the chaos, and to respond with the kind of maturity that de-escalates rather than intensifies the situation. Toxic people often have a way of making you feel like the problem is you. They can twist words, manipulate situations, and create narratives where you are to blame for everything that goes wrong. But smart people know one key truth that's rarely about you. When a toxic person projects their anger, frustration, or bitterness onto you, they are revealing more about themselves than they are about you. Their words and actions are often rooted in their own pain, insecurities, or unresolved issues. And while it can be hard not to internalize their negativity, refusing to take it personally is one of the most empowering choices you can make. When you make the conscious decision not to take their behavior personally, you remove their ability to control your emotional state. If you believe their toxic words or actions reflect something about your worth, you give them power over you. You start questioning your own value and second-guessing yourself, which is exactly what toxic individuals want. But if you recognize that their outbursts, manipulation, or cruelty have nothing to do with you, you free yourself from their influence. People who are toxic often act out because they haven't healed their own wounds. They lash out in an attempt to deflect attention from their own issues or to regain a sense of control over something. It's not your fault that they are struggling or behaving poorly. It's not your responsibility to fix them or to absorb their emotional baggage. Instead, you can choose to see their actions as a reflection of their internal chaos rather than as a personal attack on your character. Refusing to take it personally doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent to the person's feelings. It means you recognize that while their emotions might be real, they don't reflect your reality. You don't need to accept their toxic behavior as a reflection of who you are. By understanding this, you detach emotionally from the situation, making it easier to set boundaries and respond in a way that doesn't compromise your peace or self-worth. This ability to separate yourself from their issues is a skill that requires practice and self-awareness. The next time a toxic person tries to pull you into their drama, remind yourself that their actions are about them, not you. You don't need to take on their negativity or let it define your mood or self-esteem. You are not the target of their pain, you are simply in their path. It's important to remember that you are worthy of respect, kindness, and understanding not just from others, but from yourself as well. Your energy, time, and emotions are precious, and it's within your power to protect them. As you continue on your journey, embrace these principles and allow them to guide you toward creating the life and relationships you truly deserve. Thank you for your time and attention. May you always remember to set your boundaries, protect your peace, and live in alignment with your true self.